Hi, it is recording now. Thank you very much. So, for I guess the people who might be watching it online later, okay, so now this is Storypal's second happy hour, but first one to be recorded. Yeah. So, yes, please.
So another thing that maybe because we know each other, I know like certain people and you would know certain people. We all don't know each other. So just if you want to give like a little introduction or background about yourselves too, that would be great to just as like an icebreaker. And so I guess like I'll start. I moved to Korea in 2013. I met Hiwa and I was a teacher there. And then while I was there, Hiwa and I started Storypal together. And now I live in California in my hometown, and I'm still working on Storypal with Hiwa while also having like other multiple jobs as well. And yeah, if you have any questions about that, you can also ask me. So that's my introduction.
Yeah. And I guess my comment on Sumbo is she's the guardian angel of Storypal. Every time my critical side like bumps up and say negative things or whatever, she's like, but like we're doing this because of this, and we have to focus on the students and teachers who are actually using now. And so she's been always like the guardian angel, especially this year. And thanks to her, we're all here now. Otherwise, this would not be here. Yeah.
Yes, I really appreciate everyone being here. This means a lot. Your perspectives and your like you sharing your story means a lot. So thank you so much. Should we go down? Oh, go ahead, Jeff. Okay.
So first of all, Tatiana, good to see you. Good to see you outside of class. Um, it's my second school year now using Storypal, and I've been using it with middle school and high school students. And I really like that students have this way to like form friendships online, but then also just get feedback and guidance from teachers. I think that's a really good model for students, just the idea of authentic writing practice, right? Like a lot of times when you're in class and you're writing, it's just for you and your teacher. But the fact that it can be for either a broader audience if you're posting on discussion boards, or just a one-on-one, interaction, communication. I think that's really great. I want Storypal as a platform to keep reaching more people and improving. I wonder what it could look like. I know it's like for students, for children, but I wonder what this could look like for other ages, like if adults were to do this, in order for like practice, say with business English. I think that could be an interesting direction, but I also just really like just what I've seen so far with the platform. And, I hope as one of the teachers using it that I can also, be helpful in improving the platform. I guess I spoke for a little bit of time, but I'll also just tell a little bit more about my background.
Yes,
So I
yes, yes.
taught for 2 years in South Korea. Most of my teaching career has been in the US, but I now live in Israel, in Jerusalem. I'm teaching at an international school, and with a company called Easy Talk, where I teach adults and kids. And yeah, it's
It's
sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. I said adults and kids. Sorry.
Right, right. And so yeah, that's a bit about me, but I'm interested to just get to know the people here who I haven't yet met.
Oh, and then if I can, I'm gonna continue Hiwa's way of introducing the next person. So for Jeff, I'd also like to say Jeff's been a very big supporter, like Hiwa said. He's been very good at just sharing like his knowledge and connections and just very generous with his time as well. And Jeff, like we really appreciate just your belief and your support means a lot to us, especially on the days where, you know, working on something like this isn't easy, starting something from scratch isn't, but you've been amazing.
Thank you.
I can go next and
Okay,
introduce
thank you,
myself.
Kristen.
Yes, good evening all. My name is Christine Atimaya. I'm from Uganda. I met Hawa
Hihua.
from South Korea. We just met recently and she told me about Storypal. And I got interested in it because I am also a teacher of English in my country. And soon I'll be going back. So I believe when I go back, I will get my students to join Storypal because I believe it is a very good platform that can help them. Thank you. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your teaching, like about yourself a little bit? How long have you taught in Uganda? And
Okay, I said I come from Uganda and I am a teacher of English. I teach secondary school in my country and I have taught for 10 years. So I came here to South Korea for studies and I am finishing in this December. So on 17th December, I'll go back to my country and yeah, that is basically about me.
thank you.
Thank you.
I can. Oh, you first. Okay, so my name is Anastasia and originally I'm from Tajikistan. It's a small country in Central Asia. In total, I live in Korea for about 6 years, but I was going back and forth. And I have background in public policy and international development. And now I'm with my partners, we're developing a couple of educational projects. The first one is commercial one. It's about academic mentoring. And now the second, it's a social venture. We are developing project for Russian-speaking migrant youth living in Korea who are struggling with problems in educational context here. And so when I met Hiwa during the startup founders meeting, a small meeting in Busan, I heard the story of Storypal. I've heard it's a really meaningful project, and I was quite impressed actually. And I'm still keeping in mind. So we didn't yet launch our second MVP, but we will be doing it. I think we're still waiting for our funding to arrive. So we will be starting maybe from January, February. And I was actually keeping in mind that we will introduce your platform for our multicultural children. Yeah. So I think it's a really good project, not only for Korean students or students from abroad, but also migrant students in Korea. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, my name is Tatiana. I'm from Russia, Moscow, and my experience in education is more than 20 years. I started to work with children when I was 16. And then I had education as a teacher, Russian as a native language, Russian as a foreign language, and Russian literature. And 6 years I was studying in ordinary school. I was teaching, I'm sorry, my English is not so good. And then I worked online and offline in individual lessons. And
of course, I worked in different countries. I worked in Poland as teaching Russian as a foreign language. I worked with some USA companies as a teacher, also Russian as a foreign language for adults and for children. My PhD work was connected with this topic, how to study more effective, and I really interested in new platforms. I know some different startups connected with the new ways of studying languages, especially English language. But it's first time when I'm hear something about Storytel, and I really interested to know more, and if I can help with something, I would be happy. My different educational and experiences, editor and digital marketer, and currently I'm executive director of medical healthcare charity foundation in Russia. And currently I'm changing this role for remote job as a fundraising and operational manager there. So if if I can help, I will be really happy, because educational children is my huge love. I like to do that.
Thank you. We will keep that in mind. Yeah, and it's not like I know, I think it's pretty solid, right, Sambul? Our direction as in America, setting up as
Oh, yes. So yeah, so we're just having like Hiwa and I had like very intense conversations for the last few months about Storypal and its direction and what to really do with it and how can most be impactful, and both business wise and just like overall, how are we impacting students? How are we helping teachers? It was a lot of deep conversations. And so we decided when moving it to America, we're gonna go the nonprofit route. I think that makes the most sense for us. And then working from that, I don't have enough information because I'm still learning about like the nonprofit world in America, although I'm working at a nonprofit right now. But just understanding how that we can work in that direction and also impact the global world. One thing that was a big issue was the paying for the site for teachers and students abroad and here. There's a lot of free services. And so that was something that we were thinking about. And then also about for students, they do, like he was said, there's a lot of ways for students to connect. There's a lot of ways for teachers to connect. There's varying platforms. And so what makes us unique and what are we really trying to provide as a service? And we came to the conclusion that students do have ways to, like, they have Instagram, they have all these social medias, but they don't have like a very unique way of meeting like a person from another place and having a deeper pen pal exchange. So I think we organically designed a way for them to have a one-on-one connection with someone where they're kind of the only way to know about them. There's not a lot of pictures. There's not a lot of like different videos they can watch. There's just literally you have to sit and type out your conversation with someone and then respond to you and they can share something. So yeah, it's kind of the direction we're gonna go in. There's a lot of things we want to do in the back end. He was very innovative, very creative, and she has a lot of ideas. So yeah, if you want to share anything about that, you can.
Yeah, I think the details is like, I thought, I was really I was just like very into, okay, like how many crewels do we charge them for asking for pen pal? How many crewels do we charge for sending letters and these details? Well, I guess for the person who came for the first time here, what I'm saying might not make sense, but it's okay. Basically, we have some gamified gamified experience for the students when they use the platform. So like these are sort of like micro small policies that we continue to engineer, but overall we realize, you know, our direction, like, okay, when we are gone or whatever, like what do we want Storypal to be? And we figured that we're not, yeah, we want to be sustainable, we want to make money, but ultimately we're really the only way we're not killing the server is because we see that students are making like one-on-one friends. Maybe they can, that is harder and not as safe when they try to do it other places. So because of that, Tatiana, thank you for offering, like helping us. I think in the future, we will be more vocal and active and open about reaching out and getting help and getting like opinions and finding out just way to make it work instead of like stop worrying about how much share we hold each other and like how to get investment. Like we will, right, we will have to raise fund and maybe now donation or some way to generate sustainable funding, but we decided we're gonna take this route. Yeah, so you are coming at that time. So yeah. What else do you want to talk about, Sambal?
Oh yeah, so after hearing everyone's kind of backgrounds, everyone basically is very global citizens
Yeah.
and multicultural. And so I just wanted to ask, like, what are some experiences, like if you could have, if you don't mind sharing, like what are some experiences that have helped you become more globally aware and kind of, if that makes sense, like what are some experiences that made you more globally aware when you traveled to a different country, or what did you learn about yourself? Is that too vague?
Well, I'll share not a specific experience, but one thing I just like to do when I travel. Um, Travel, I think, has been something that I've done a lot, really throughout my life. I think it's partly just because I'm from Washington, D.C., where there's a lot of people from other countries coming in and out, and from um, different parts of the U.S. And having family living in different countries. But I think travel has always been very important to me. And when I travel, I just really strike up conversations with people. I just ask. I meet. I think some people when they travel, they just go to see the famous places, or they go to, eat whatever special foods. But I think, talking to and engaging with people who are from that place and just learning from them and about them, I think is a really just good thing to do. And, I think maybe some people, they're in a new place, or maybe they don't have the confidence, but, I think it's just something you develop once you do it more and more. And yeah, I think also, it's a skill to, and a good thing to be able to do that online, because then you can kind of connect with and learn from people who are just outside of your normal social circles.
Yes. And then Christine, I guess like for you, was this because you came from Uganda to Korea to study? And so how was this experience? Like how was like, not the culture shock, but like cultural differences, and how was that experience for you?
The experience is a bit unique in its own way, because I discovered a lot of things that I didn't think of. But as Jeff has said, the more you talk to people, when you travel, the more you talk to people, the more you get to know. So for me in Korea, what has happened is even when there is language barrier, when I get someone whom I can communicate with, then we share more and I get to learn about those people. That is how I ended up meeting Hewa. We had gone for a trip. We had gone for vacation in Busan, and we met her there. So given the fact that she knows English and we could communicate very well with one another, we interacted and she shared with me about Storypal and I told her what I do, and yeah, that is how we connected. So yes, thank you.
And then Anastasia, like, do you have anything to add about like just your experiences of like traveling? Because you do business in Korea. So how do you kind of keep your, because it's also like a multicultural like environment as well. So how do you kind of handle all of that?
Yes, I think my background was always, well, not always, but from the age of 17, it's quite international. I traveled and lived in many countries, and now we also work with the foreign countries, mainly with the Russian speaking, like post-Soviet space, but later we would like to extend a bit further. And just trying to connect with what you do, I would say yes, and what others, I will join what others they said before, that communication, I think, is one of the key experiences and one of the most deep experience you get out of travels. And maybe it's one of the best parts of the memories that you get from there. And I was just thinking again about your project, about your platform. You know, I was thinking that I met so many people, and we of course communicate with most of them via Facebook. I don't have Instagram, but I have most of them on Facebook. But sometimes there's like, you know, there's a feeling of instant gratification when you when you write to someone and you get the immediate reply. You lose something in between, I feel. But there are some friends with whom we still keep in touch, not as often as, for example, on Facebook. Maybe I don't see them, but when we write each other via email, I feel I have much deeper connection with them. So it's true what you're doing. Like I remember that Hihua said that you had a survey, I think, or interviewed with kids, right? They shared that experience that you actually take time to think, to, I don't know, retrospect and find some more information, etc., to connect in a more deeper level with your counterparts. And so, yes, I think what you're creating now is that even though these kids maybe they didn't travel as much or they never traveled before, but you're already creating for them this kind of meaningful and deep experience beforehand. And I feel it's quite unique. So I think you should keep going. Yeah.
Thank you. And Tatiana, I was like a little
Thank
confused.
you.
So I had I got a question. So you and Jeff were your online student teacher, and then now you are staying in Israel.
Correct.
So this is your first time in Israel?
No, I came to Israel in 2017 to 2018, and this summer for 1.5 months. So now I just came with my family.
Oh, your family's with you. That's so awesome.
Yeah, I hope everything will be okay. We hope stay here.
Do you have any children?
No, I have mother and pets.
Oh, that's awesome. So then what's your, like, it's their first time coming to Israel with you?
No. For my family, it's first time. For me, it's fourth time.
Oh, yes. So then for your family, did you like prep them in any way, or was there anything you shared about like cultural differences or things like this?
I think Israel is a place where there is a lot of people from Russia and close countries. So it's for me, it's a very simple place for relocation and for cultural communications, because in my current home, whole flats, whole families speaks Russian, and in shops and everywhere. But it's Haifa. It's a town where there is a lot of Russian-speaking people. But I, of course, from others, I hear a lot of opinions that there is huge cultural differences which Russian people feel. And first of all, it's some bureaucracy issues and maybe Asia specific comparing to Russian specific. Central Russia is more like Europe. And when people come to Asia countries, they felt that a lot of things are not under their control. And a lot of people scared of it. I like it. It's freedom for me, but I think I changed my life about 4 or 5 times, so I really ready to do changing things. But I think cultural differences I have seen when I was traveling to Italy, to Poland, maybe Ukraine. Ukraine is a very close country, but when I came to Ukraine in 2003, and then I felt that it's more warm people there, more open, more kind than surrounding people, which I have seen before. And there is a huge role of regional questions in Poland and in Ukraine comparing to Central Russia, where I was born. I think Italy is very also warm, emotional, and not a place with not so huge role of structure in everyday tasks, like Asian countries. I think Italy is also very close to Russia in their mind, but I'm sorry, I confused a little bit, but it's I felt there's some cultural differences, especially with background. Catholics, it's different, creates different culture comparing to Orthodox Russian culture. So I think something like that. And of course, in Israel is a lot of Jewish cultural specific. So I think something like that.
Right. When I actually was able to visit Israel one time, and then for me, did I know it before I go? I'm not sure. I don't remember. But the fact that the weekend, the school starts from Sunday, was for me a culture shock, because in my whole mind, I never imagined, you start school on Sunday. Like, that was a culture shock. So yeah, I think the more we travel, the more we meet with people. It's if I can also answer your question, I think for me, I was also able to. I was thankfully, I think I was lucky, and I'm grateful that I was able to travel some places. But I think when I think back, my cultural learning and like this upgrade of my perspective was not necessarily where I was, but the people that I met. Like I was in America, I was in Geneva, but in those times, I never really interacted much with, say, a friend from African continent, but it was in Korea when I went to school in KAIST in Seoul. There's a school called KAIST in Seoul, and my roommate was from Nigeria. And so there were culture shocks. And I heard, things before I became roommate. I guess, like we have stereotypes about different cultures and different countries. And so other friends said some things, and then like it happens that what they have said negatively somewhat happened. But then like I just asked about it. And then, basically it was the way she lived, the way she lived the situation was really based on the different value system, which was not necessarily a bad value system, but from a different value system, it can look weird and bad. And so like those interaction and conversation, talking about it. And then I think, so the more I think we get to interact with different people, I think the more we realize that we cannot judge anyone. Like we have to, every time we meet someone new, like it is good if you know more about different kinds of culture and system, but it's best to keep white paper and then try to redraw, like re-sketch how that person is and why, and just trying to understand that person as a person. And of course, knowing the cultural background helps, but how can you know all of that thing unless you're Google? So the way we find out about this information is by talking and just accepting and just like not judging while we do that. So I think like for me, that's how I learned after, because I did have my emotions come and go, oh, like these things too, or like, wow, different, these things too. But at the end of the day, and I think that's sort of maybe another reason why I hope Storypal can also create for the students who may not be able to have that type of practices in their life. So yeah, but for me, that's the. By the way, we did not pick the question before the happy hour. So Sambal and we're different, but when it comes to, I think, planning these things, we go by spontaneous. We tend to go by spontaneous. So next time, I guess we can, but I think it's okay if we ask spontaneous question. I think that was a good question, Sambal.
I guess I was just curious because it was just my innate curiosity about everyone, because I lived in Korea, I was born in Pakistan, I moved to America, I lived in Korea, I have family like in the UK and Dubai, so I've also traveled a lot. But like everyone said, like the communication aspect of it is where my mind really opened, because I have family in Pakistan where like I don't really agree with what they're saying, or I don't understand everything, but I understand, like you had said, like their value system is so different from mine, their cultural implications are so different from mine, their religious beliefs, like all of that comes into play. And having that openness is something that's really helped me understand people, and the ability just to listen to their stories and their backgrounds really helps. And so I was just wondering about like how everyone else kind of takes the information that's given to them and how they process it. So thank you for being so open and honest with your answers.
Yeah, thank you. Then I guess then I can ask another question. Maybe do you guys have any question about us or Storypal, or like just yeah, any question or any comment or anything, or any ideas or anything?
Well, I guess
'Cause,
my question,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
so where is Storypal kind of looking to go, both in like schools who use the platform, and just other organizations who you might want to partner with?
Mm. Yes, so for schools and organizations who would use Storypal, we're open to, it doesn't matter which kind, like it doesn't matter if it's like a private, public, or government, because we do have all of them right now, and we don't see any conflict or problem. And we even do have we even have homeschool students. So as long as there is some guardian guardian, then we are open to everyone. And then in terms of accessibility, we're as you know, it's like invitation based. So we're not having like exponential growth of member increase at the moment, because we would rather keep it safe and go slow than just open it up and just yeah, and after regretting. So of course, I think we will try to find a way to get the balance, but I think we will keep the invitation based, and keep the pricing like baseline free, and then just make a good additional value proposition for the organization if they want to manage like the member activities at a more official level, and for more records, like for the use case of the paid members in Korea. I mean, the use case, most, I think, valuable use case is basically like government department sponsoring schools, like 10 schools in the city. And then at the end, like they want to check how each school have used the platform. So like if they have the paid membership, then they're able to register all of these school teachers and the students within the group, and then manage, like check, see directly, okay, they have done this, they have said this. So in addition to teacher being able to check the students and help them, like the admins can also do that. So they kind of make it transparent. And even though this is not like a exam records, they can sort of use it as a official project management thing, because they can give them sort of goals and deadlines. So for example, like, okay, comment on how many lounges every month, or set the goals, and then see if the members have, or students have achieved those targets. Yeah, which is not our main thing. Like we don't want to make it, we really don't want to make it like a homeschool, like a homework and another task that students have to do. But at the same time, the reality is educators sort of have to find a way to manage and build like goals. And like a gym, I guess, gym membership, yeah, you can sign up for gym and do it on your own. But then if you have a personal trainer, then the personal trainer will give you like goals. So that's sort of what it is. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Did I understand the question correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll ask another question.
Okay.
I know that most students, in different countries, for their cross-cultural communication, they're using English. But I also know that you can choose other languages on the site. is there a lot of activity in other languages, and like a lot of efforts to expand that, or like is the main focus, or is maybe the greater focus like trying to get people to be communicating in English?
Sombul, do you want to answer this?
I think I can a little bit answer this. So my goal and dream is for all languages to be on here, and everyone can learn whatever language they want, and they have a friend that can they can practice with. But so far it's just been English. And then we've had students that are in India that are learning Korean. And so they like to practice their Korean writing with their friends. And right now, I think because we are starting slowly, focusing on getting like a lot of one language going so we can get the next one going is like makes the most sense. But it would be great to have more languages and people practicing other languages on there. But again, it's just the two of us right now. So getting it to a bigger place of that. If you know anyone, please let me know. That would be great for them to practice languages in other countries. Or the
Yeah, I
languages.
think for that it's like two things. One is our intention, and then the second one is actual technical availability and how it actually works. And so right now, when the students like request for pen pal match, they do have in their self-introduction, like they can select which language they're interested in. But the system is not able to tell, or necessarily like the language itself is not necessarily like the main thing the match is based on. So, but I think if we really, at one point, I think we will have to bump this up, and earlier the better. And so when we do that, we will definitely make this a priority. And also the thing is, so far, we sort of had like identity, like we had to learn who we are. And we were like, how much are we into language learning? And so if it is, then like, should we support like language learning? And so that was where we sort of spent our time. But we have concluded, okay, we are not about language teaching. We have to focus on matching, and the language part later, if it's like somehow, if it's really needed and if really is aligned with some core, then we would, but no, it's not. So now I think then focusing on matching, like as a part of the improving the matching algorithm, including that side totally makes sense. So I think for your question, the answer is yes. I mean, the multi-language is more than just one English language. Yeah. At the moment, yeah, the 99% is English though. Thank you for another question. Anastasia, you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. If I ask what are the key free challenges at the moment for you, what would it be in the order, like from
Challenges?
yeah, the key challenges. Yeah.
Key challenges. Good question. How many can we list?
She said three. Three.
Three?
Did you say three key challenges?
Yeah, three main challenges, if you can.
What would you pick as first one, Somo?
I don't know, like, okay, so for me, I would say it would be, and not in this order, it would be like growth strategy, like having like a good growth strategy for how to, like he was said, like going slowly and safely is very important. And so having that be like, how can that be a clear cut strategy of outreach and getting people to join and feeling safe in them joining the community, all of that. Then the second would be more like a technical base. So like getting us up like technically to a place where we feel like really good about the site and the service, and like right now just talking about the match request and like getting it to a place where students can really like share the things that they want, and we can really help them get to that next goal. Third time,
Funding.
yeah, funding. Yeah, funding would be
Funding.
actually the third time. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's like a chicken and egg of what Sambal said, I think. But so far, our main issue was, who are we and why are we really doing it? And so that is solved. So that used to be a key challenge, is like, what keeps us going, and what value are we really adding? But after that, it is the three things. And now also that we decided we want to pursue the MPO route, while in Korea we are operating as a regular corporation. And even though we have we achieved a pre-social enterprise status that is like certified by the government, so we can sort of utilize that funding if we meet certain criteria that they ask us for. But for that, like, I think what I would need to do is I need to still like either get some revenue or find a technical member, like and then we can utilize a grant. So here there's a smaller chicken and egg problem here. And so yeah, the funding strategy kind of mixed, and yeah.
As you think about as I understood correctly, now you're utilizing more B2G and B2B model, right? Did you think about if you want to grow to make it more like B2C? So when the people actually will pay, and maybe extend your target group to older people who can pay for themselves, but maybe they need a bit different, because it's not about language, it's about communication. And I believe adults like me might also find it very valuable to have this kind of service, to have exchange. And maybe if you could extend to the group which is older and they can pay for themselves, or parents who will be willing to pay for their children. So you don't need to depend on the partners looking always for schools and government fundings. I don't know if you have already B2C.
I think when we consider like adults, we try to think about alternative options that the adults have. And so far we have concluded that we can add more value by focusing on sort of this soft ages, because they're in different setting.
I see.
Whereas for adults, we felt like they have LinkedIn. They can also direct message other adults. And they don't necessarily need like a guardian, unless it is sort of like a teacher is helping them with language. So I think like in the context of where Jeff said possibly like the teachers could use it with the adult students, and we help them match them with another adult students, like that case would be viable, which is, however, then still in the context of B2B instead of like directly to that student. So like the teachers would still, even if it's adult, request the students to, write a letter, write comment in this language. So yeah, but I don't know, what do you think? Do you think the adults would, in this context, Storypal could help?
I was thinking, because our social enterprise, well, we are still in the process of developing, and we don't have as much experience as you. We have very similar target group. I mean, the age. And we went through the acceleration program for the last 9 months. And we did already the first MVP. Then there is intermediate MVP. And what we found out at the beginning, we were thinking only about that we would be able be financially sustainable only with this type of business model. But then in the process, we found out some other solutions. So for example, in our case, for B2C model, we decided to focus on parents, because our target group is also very young. They are not able to pay for themselves. So we need to work with parents, and for that we need to increase our visibility profile to improve but to build reputation. So we have to work on that part via social networks first and create some already, but in your case, you already have visible experience and already you have positive feedback. So maybe you could already market that part for parents, and then when they see the positive feedback from others, from schools and from the students themselves, they already will have trust, and they might willing to, because they know their children might be all the time in TikTok and I know that some parents don't like this kind of application, so they might use your service. So to pay, they would be willing to pay maybe as subscribers, like monthly subscribers or etc. So that I was thinking one of the things. And another thing in our case, what we found out is that so we have one type of solution, but then as we are still in the process of developing and we are still at the beginning, we understand that not so many parents, even if they think it's a good solution, they not necessarily will be willing to pay, not much, but enough for us to sustain ourselves financially. So we decided to have some extra services, some educational events, which I don't know how to express that, but the price is just right, like when we know that the parents will be willing to pay this price, and this was already tested, so we know approximately how much parents are willing to pay without hesitation for this kind of short-term events. In case of Korea, it was like 3 days, for example, like educational camp, or we want also to test like educational competitions, like for example academic competition, etc., for the price which we know that it's not expensive for parents. They will be able easily to pay that. So I was thinking if you could add some other short events and test them, to test the affordability and see how much not just teachers or schools, but parents will be willing to pay for your service. And then maybe you create, like maybe in our case it would be like math competitions for migrant youth, or maybe later speech competitions, and short-term like laboratory for the future, where kids can learn how to understand better what they want in the future, and etc., what steps to make. So this kind of short-term educational events, it's not so far going, it's not going too far from our main solution. It's like additional, which can also help to be financially a bit more. And also prizes. I actually really think that you can apply for prizes. We participated in, I told you, social venture 경영대회. We were able to win some, and I think with your solution, I'm quite sure you would be willing. I remember I met so many social startups, and they were saying first 2 years is really difficult. You have to be ready for the first 2-3 years, not to gain money. But I remember one of very successful social venture like founders, he said, for the first 2 years, how they financially sustained themselves, they were regular, because their solution was quite unique. It was for blind people, and they won prizes all the time. So they put so much effort because of their solution. It's quite unique to convince government or other partners about their solution. They were able to sustain themselves like that, and after that, that paid off in some years. Like they built reputation and etc. People start trusting them more. And
These were really good. Thank you so much. You really have like a really deep thoughts about things. Thank you.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we could hear you.
Okay. Anastasia, I was saying thank you. That was really insightful. Thank you so much for sharing all of that.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Also, it's like 5 minutes to stopping time. Also, I just wanted, because happy hour is almost over, so I just want to share that.
Yes. Yeah, so I think the happy hour, we want to continue this, and so maybe like maybe what do you guys suggest, maybe like for next happy hour topic, and you guys, it's like not you don't have to come every time. Whenever you can come, but I figured that maybe having some topic, maybe like previous group decide for the next group might be also an idea, some key words or whatever. It doesn't have to be like everything about that keyword, but we can bring that keyword to the next group. Any suggestions?
I'm sure I really sorry that I can't explain something about your platform, because at first time when I see it, I have found it this site and description in internet, but maybe you have some video presentations. I would love to share my ideas, but first of all, I have to learn more about it.
Okay. So include some we thought we should not do that not to bore people, but you're suggesting we should present a little bit about how Storypal works, like visually. Kristen's like, yeah.
Because
Okay.
I see here explain that it's mostly for teens, and I know a lot about teenagers from Russia and from other countries, and I can maybe give some advices what can be done for them. But first of all, I have to understand what ways of communications and
like how it works, right?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so this is Sombla and I will talk about this, because we sort of initially we thought that happy hours will be for our teachers and students who are using the site, but obviously this is not. So okay, we will include that. We'll try to make it short, but we will definitely include that. Yeah, thank you for the comment.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think I guess even for the members who are using, maybe if we share that, then we can actually maybe even talk about like the features, and even like comment on the things that was really annoying, or basically we can do the design together, use that time for that. So I think that would be really fun. So, and that's something like that is like a between the line of the key trouble. I mean, like we feel a little bit isolated, you know. We want to be more connected and be actually developing what is important. But so far it's been like, maybe because we were so worried about, are we going to be sustainable? Why are we doing this? Like, what are we doing this for? How are we going to do this? We've been sort of in our own, you know, corners and our own little circle. But now we decided, okay, maybe we don't know complete answer to that, but we feel like we have some main direction. So we're gonna just open it up and ask people, hear what the current member and potential members say. So I think that would be really perfect. So thank you. Any other comments for next future happy hour?
I think that's everything.
Yeah, that's everything. Yep. Anything else you want to say?
Oh, yes. I'd like to say thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join. Super appreciated. Thank you for sharing about both your life stories and your insights. And just this was really appreciated. And thank you so much.
Yes, in the future, I think it would be fun to have students too.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And this is like the I think this is good and bad part of the online Zoom meeting. Is like, I guess if it was like offline, we would also eat something or drink something and just like chat more about things. But this online this is what it is. So I hope you guys enjoy your afternoon, and then yeah, good night for the ones, so all of us who are in Korea. And have a good day for Sampo.
Oh,
She
yes.
woke up at 5 a.m. to have this call, so thank you, Sampo, for making
Oh,
it here.
it's not a big sacrifice. I appreciate this time. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. And if you have anything that you could not say here, you feel free to message us with your comments. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, Jeff.
Bye.
Okay. I'm gonna
So,
have Jeff
this is still
connect.
recording, and I guess.
I was like, I'm gonna have Jeff connect us to Tatiana, but
What?
I'm gonna tell Jeff to connect us to Tatiana because she
Oh,
has
I think
questions.
her name is Tatiana, not Tatiana.
It's not phonetic, it's not-
Tatiana.
I don't know.
Okay. I think it's Tatiana. I think I can ask Anastasia. She speaks Russian, so
Yes,
yes. Guess I should catch up with her before she leaves Belgium. So thank you. This is still recording. I guess this is how it's gonna go up.
Does it stop recording? Okay. Well,
Oh, okay. First,
I'll
I'm
just
gonna
talk-
stop recording.
Okay. Call me. No, are you gonna